Also, this would include meeting with all teachers and staff to go over the district's acceptable use policy. I would also require all staff to attend and complete a training on copyright laws. With this third option, would put Miss Lynn on probation for violating copyright laws and give her a written warning. Ensure all copies are destroyed properly and that they're not floating around the school still. The fourth option would be to purchase new software. We could hold another fundraiser as a school to raise enough money to purchase the software for all of the teachers to have a program for more than one grade level, and we could keep all of these purchased software programs in the computer lab. We purchased software for the computer lab so all teachers have access to different grade level materials when going in on their scheduled time. This way we wouldn't have to make copies of, say, the third grade materials for second, third, and fourth grade teachers. So what are the pros and cons of the different options? So the first option of do nothing. A pro would be that all students would have access to the materials that were copied and they would have a better chance of success. Miss Lynn would save the school a lot of money by us not having to purchase more software for teachers to use. The cons of this option would be that Miss Lynn is violating copyright laws, and she is putting herself and others at risk. And we also know she is violating the copyright laws and we're not doing anything about it. Also, the school and teachers could face fines, or the district could go bankrupt, having to pay the fines or pay the fees of being sued. This could also lead to other issues in the future of being pushed under the rug as well, because if teachers and staff know that something like this might just be pushed aside or forgotten about, they might try to also do something in the future. So the second option of notifying the software company. The pros would be that the school would not have to worry about a surprise lawsuit coming up from doing nothing. The software company could let it go or let us down easy if we as the school were honest about the situation and let them know what happened. This would also set a precedent of the expected behavior at the school and letting teachers and staff know of the consequences that will happen if they violate laws or policies or regulations that have been put into place. Some cons of this would be that Mr. Sample could lose the relationships that he worked so hard to build with the staff in the community and other stakeholders within his school. The school could still get sued by the software company, which would cost them a lot of money. And another con is that in this situation, if we close the computer lab, the whole school would lose out on the opportunity to use it, even if it was brand new. So the third option of meetings and trainings, the pros would be that the stakeholders would be made aware of the situation. Everyone could brainstorm how to handle or fix the situation. And this way we can make sure that everybody is getting what they need and we're trying to meet the needs of everybody. The staff would be trained on how to properly handle the copyright laws. The school could ensure that laws are implemented correctly within the classrooms. And teachers would learn from the mistake of trying to make copies of a program and violating copyright laws. Some cons of this are that Miss Brandon could be singled out for bringing up the issue to Mr. Sample. Some of the staff could turn against her since she basically told on somebody else for doing something wrong. Another con is that Miss Lynn could quit if she felt she was treated unfairly or that she was being singled out in this situation. And also, if the Board of Education gets involved, the situation could be written up based on the parties involved, and it could go in their permanent records and move with them forever. The fourth option of purchasing new software. The pros would be that the whole school would have equal access to the program materials and that students and staff success and well-being is put first, and that's what the school is really trying to focus on. Or there would be the chance or the reasons or the opportunity to make copies of something for everybody to have it is just diminished because there are purchased enough copies for everybody. However, some cons of this option would be that the school would have to do another fundraiser. I know not all parents and staff and maybe even the PTA wants to do a bunch of fundraisers. Also, computer programs usually cost a lot of money, so that could be a con for the school. And there also would be the issue of copyright was not truly handled. The violation was not handled at all. It was kind of just pushed under the rug again because they just purchased it to help mitigate the chance of this happening again in the future. So based on all of those, what's the best option? So in my opinion, under all these circumstances and looking at the pros and cons, the best option for this situation is going to be option number 3, which includes the meetings and the trainings. I think this is the best option because involving the PTA, the superintendent, the Board of Education, and all of the staff ensures a good solution. And it also includes a solution that could be good for everybody, not just certain stakeholders. Also with this option, future policies can be created to effectively communicate the laws in the future to avoid these things happening again. Everyone in the district or in the school would be on the same page regarding copyright laws, and they would be applied consistently and ethically across all teachers in the school. The teachers and staff would receive the needed trainings revolving around copyright laws and know how to handle these situations in the future. The teachers in question would receive minimal punishment, not things like getting fired or having something put in their permanent record. The illegal copies of the computer programs that were on the blank CDs could be properly destroyed, and we can be sure that they are destroyed, not just asked and sitting somewhere. And also, new policies are guaranteed to be either made or implemented by all stakeholders if we go with option number 3 of meetings and trainings. So what would it look like to implement my decision? So first, what would I do first? I would want to meet with Miss Lynn and give her the written warning and explain her probation, why it's happening and what it's going to look like and how she can get off probation and what she should do in the future. Also in this, I would want to meet separately with the PTA to discuss the situation and explain to them copyright laws and how they can avoid these things happening to them in the future as well. Second, I would like to personally collect all of the copies that were made of the computer programs and make sure that they are properly destroyed. It's another thing you don't want just looming around or sitting around. Third, in implementing this decision would be to meet with the superintendent to discuss the situation and the actions that have already been taken or the ones that are in place to be taken in the near future. With the superintendent, I would also like to discuss if they had any input on what could or should be done to handle this situation as well. Fourth would be to meet with all the teachers and the staff at my school to give them their required training on copyright laws. During this training, I would also ask that the superintendent joins in to be present and be another familiar face in the room for teachers to understand that these trainings are important. During this training, I would also make sure to discuss equitable school resources and how the laws and policies can and should be implemented in the classrooms throughout the whole school. Fifth, I would meet with the Board of Education and discuss the situation with them and what steps have been taken by myself and the superintendent. And I also, with the Board of Education, would like to review the district's policies on acceptable use and communicate how to bring those to school situations and how to notify school staff of where to find the acceptable use policies. And then sixth and finally, I would continue to evaluate the trainings that were happening and how the teachers were handling applying those copyright laws and policies into their classrooms. I also would want to be available for questions or concerns for my teachers during the transition time of implementing all of these new policies or new to them policies into their classrooms. And what happens if D doesn't work? What's my plan B? I have a couple different plan Bs. So if Miss Lynn or any other staff member does not want to comply with following the copyright laws, they would need to be formally written up, something that would go in their permanent record and move with them. Also, if it is a continuing concern, we still have the same staff members doing things unethically, illegally, not following copyright laws, they would need to be let go and fired because of these situations. Another plan B could be if the school or district ends up still being sued, all the documentation and courses of actions that I have done I would want to hand over to the Board of Education so they could work with a legal team for representation in the case for being sued. And also, I would like to have a plan B of providing extra training or extra courses on top of the required training for staff members that need more information or examples after the first training to supplement some things in to really get everybody on the same page and on board with following the copyright laws and making sure that we are staying compliant. There's the reference page. All right, thank you.